consultant. I am an entrepreneur to understand what goes on so that when I am giving my lectures, when I am giving my trainings and some consultations, I know that there are people who are suffering down there. And that is why I always call myself a practitioner and therefore not a theorist. We undertook the session of mindset last week, which we are going to build on as we move on. And it was very important for us to understand that it's a mindset that will either make or break our businesses. Today, we are going to look at building a stronger business for tomorrow. And we are building it today, which is very important because if you're not prepared, then you're planning to fail, as the saying goes. We'll be covering 5 bold steps towards recession-proof business. And why I would like us to cover the 5 bold steps is for us to understand and take actions in the right or towards the right place. Hardships often prepare ordinary people for extraordinary destinies. And this one we know, we have seen that it is during crisis that the best decisions are made, depending on who made it and how was it made. It's also important for us to understand that a bed in the road is not the end. Sorry, I am trying to remove that from the screen. A bed in the road is not the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn. So where are you going? You're the driver of your life, we said last time. And you have to ensure that you take the right turn. Otherwise, if you don't make the turn, then you are going to collapse. And that is what we are avoiding now by taking you through these 5 bold steps today. We'll be covering others next Friday, but for this one, we are going to take care of 5 today. We cannot do everything. Rome was not built in a day. So before we go there, we need to understand the business environment today. Businesses have been undergoing a lot of difficulties. And as a result of that, the environment that used to be there, that was so stable, that was so predictable, has ceased to be. And today's business environment has become what we call VUCA environment. VUCA environment. And the VUCA environment, the acronym VUCA, is there to mean the volatility that is in the business. An environment that is demanding you to act quickly to ongoing changes, but these changes are very unpredictable and out of your control. How do you go on? How do you move for that business to be able to continue? It's important for us to understand that in this particular pandemic that we are in, it is very unpredictable. It is out of our control. Nobody can say to have any control, but we have to move on and we have to make it. The U is for uncertain. It's a very uncertainty environment. We actually have failed to understand what needs to be done. It is not clear. And the environment is requiring us to take actions without certainty. And we must, because we are there and we are alive. Thank God to that. It is also complex with lots of interdependencies. We have the health sector, we have the education sector, we have the economy. This time round is not our peak season or not peak season. It is intertwined with so many other interdependencies, making it so complex than the other times. The environment is also ambiguous, very unfamiliar. No one has been there. we see that the expertise of the virologists have said that this is a new thing, they've never seen it. And therefore, we are in the tourism industry, but we are expected to handle this ambiguous environment. So it will take us a while, but if we are well prepared, the VUCA environment can be less challenging. So what about this VUCA environment? What has it brought about? It has brought what we call the strategic drift. Strategic drift, where strategies are no longer relevant. You have your 5-year plan that you had prepared. You also had a plan for this particular season for Kenyans. It's supposed to be our peak season. Actually, in normal circumstances, at this time, you can't find cars because they're all booked and gone. Space in hotels is always a nightmare to get. So this strategy that we had for our business, these bookings that we had, they are no longer relevant. There are all the challenges that are surrounding us, and these threats are real. We cannot run away from them. But then the beauty of strategic drift is that it strips off competitive advantage of all. We are all the same. Big operators, small operators, what we call the black swine, which is COVID-19, something that was not, that has come from nowhere, that was not expected, that has not been welcome, has stripped everyone of competitive advantage. What that means is that playing at the same level, we have a chance to make it and make it better. So let's be prepared so that we are able to move away from this strategic drift. So how do we counter the strategic drift? We either need to run a formal or deliberate planning process and deploy an emergent strategic process. This means that it has to be a conscious process. We cannot afford to just wait and see, watch and see. No, we have to come up with a deliberate process. And I thank Phyllis and the team that last week they took us through this deliberate planning, where we were shown how to come up with different scenarios for contingency plans. We cannot just make it out of this strategic drift if we're not going to implement those strategies.
Hi, Mary. So can I just interrupt you?
Can I just?
For a minute. I'm receiving messages that the audio is low. Is it possible to increase your volume?
Okay, is that better?
Regina, is that better?
Is that better? I have increased the volume.
Let me check.
Please do. We're going to counter this strategic drift, and we said that we need a formal plan. We also said that with a plan without implementation is dead, and therefore we need to look at how we are going to implement this strategy and how we are going to move on through the change so that we adapt to the situation and circumstance. I'm thinking, okay, I'm okay now. So how are we going to do this? We were taken through the business contingency planning, and this can only be done through business resilience. The strategic drift can only be covered through business resilience, which is the capacity to recover quickly from this situation and maintain the resources, and most importantly, maintain our brand. Very, very important that even as you recover, you ensure that your brand remains. The brand resilience is also the ability to create environment for openness to new opportunities. So we are not just going to look at business that we were doing before, we're also looking at new opportunities. What is the environment giving us? How can we make use of those opportunities? It is also the ability to adapt to attain well-being and excellence of mental health. Business resilience will only come if you have excellent mental health to help you navigate for success. We were taken through this continuity planning by Phyllis and the team on Monday last week, whereby we need to analyze what is happening out there, the environment, what can we do, what are the needs, what are the changes. Then we need to design solutions, implement, test for acceptance, and maintain them. I'll not go through this because this was covered very well by the team. So we need to have a proactive engagement to be able to address all these aspects of business. We need to address people, our customers, our suppliers, our employees. We need to address the processes, our systems, our websites, our presence. We also need to address our resources and technology if we have to make it tomorrow. Business resilience is about continuity, is about moving on with your business. And today we will be covering the 5 bold steps towards the recession-proof business. And these steps include the decision-making. We need to understand the philosophy of flow of money, innovation and adaptation, quality circles or networks, and expert roles. So let's go through them. And before we reach there, it's good for us to understand that reality is an illusion, as I said last week, but a very persistent one. And here we have the wife of former Steve Jobs, who is saying that we don't have to accept the world that we are born into as something that is fixed and impermeable. It is not fixed. We were just born there, period. So it is upon us to see out there. And she says in her words that Steve saw clearly what was not there, what could be there, what is to be there, and his mind was not captive of reality. And we know Steve Jobs as a founder of Apple in 1976, into the personal computers, microcomputers, etc. We have our iPads, all the Apple resources that we have. But it's interesting for you to understand that even for him to get where he got, it took him about 8 years. The first breakthrough that he got was in 1983. And that was 8 years after. So how old is your business? You have to know that even with this, you will make it. So the first thing that we have to look into is decision making. You have to make decisions because it is the decisions you make today that will influence your business tomorrow. And we say that the war of nature is fought in the mind. So the decisions that you're going to make will either grow you or they'll make you die. So what kind of decisions are you going to make? We are at a crossroad, as we can see there. Which way do I take? At times we take so long deciding which way to take, and at times we are torn in between 2 roads, and we all know from our traditions what the 2 roads do to a hyena. So it's important for us to make decisions and make them fast. So what kind of decisions are you going to make? Just a brief on what decision making is. The word decision came from the word dissect, cutting away from many. dissecting, removing what is unwanted, and selecting that which is wanted. And this decision making, if you make it well, you will grow or you will die, depending on how you make the decision. It is also decisions to either expand or contract. What are you looking forward to having your business like? Do you have a vision for it? What kind of vision do you have? It is important for us to understand that decision-making are influenced by our minds, as we said last time, and our desperations, which are driven by our fears, will make our decisions limited to where we are going. And it's important for us to understand that fear is just an illusion. What about our inspirations, our values, our mission, our goals? What makes you wake up every morning will also be influencing your decision, which kind of decisions you are going to make. And it is important for us to understand that there are several decisions that we can make. And I don't want us to dwell on that, but I just want to bring to your attention two types of decisions that we can make at this particular point. And there is the type 1 decision that I call the one-way door decisions. One-way door decisions. And the one-way door decision is a decision that is very consequential, very irreversible or nearly irreversible. You cannot reverse it. You cannot go back. Once you enter through that door, you are not likely to go and see what is behind you. And therefore, it is a decision that has to be made with a lot of care, with a lot of deliberations, a lot of consultations before you make it. I am sure that many people are at the verge of, do I close my business? Do I sell? Do I collaborate? Can I be bought off? These are some of the type 1 decisions whereby it is almost irreversible. And the other type of decision is the type 2 decisions. The type 2 decision is where you have, I always call them two-way doors, because you can enter, you can go out, you can swing around. They are changeable decisions, reversible. You can be able to reverse them. And it is important for us to know that if you enter, because you can go out, then you can be able to try as many times as possible. You can be able to experiment if you're looking at the type 2 decisions. And because of the nature of the type 2 decision, you find that they are slow to make. You have to think through it, you have to go through it. And as a result of that, it may lead you, it may hinder you from making decision on time. So which kind of decision are you going to make today and for your business tomorrow? How well do you know yourself? How well do you know your operating system? That is something that you need to look into while you're making the decisions. That business, how well do you know it? What are those processes? What are those procedures? What are those standards that you have set? And what do you need to change now? We have seen we are in a VUCA business environment. What do you need to change now? Albert Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And it is true, you cannot continue with the old ways and you're expecting something new. COVID has come. Some are saying it is here to stay, and therefore it would be insane if you go back after having waited for 4 months and you're still going back and expecting different results. But there is hope. When one door closes, another open. But we often take so long regretting at the closed door that we don't see the one that is open for us. So it is important for us to look at the opportunities ahead from this VUCA environment. Which are the opportunities ahead of us? So which decisions do we need to make at this particular point? Because we are saying that these are bold steps that we need to take. And the bigger the vision that you have for your life, the easier it is to get out of this. If you have a bigger vision for yourself, then it will be easier for you to get out. But then, as Zig Ziglar said, if you wait until all lights are green before you head to town, then you're going to stay home for the rest of your life, because you'll find that on one highway, one light is red, the other one is green. There will never be any one time when all of them will be green. And therefore you need to make decisions. There are decisions that you must make. We saw this last week. Yes, the light is green, but there is no right turn. Do you make the turn? It is upon you to make decisions. And which decisions are you going to make? Think of yourself first. I don't want to repeat what we said last time, but it is important for you to remember that your health, your body, your soul, and your mind comes first before your business. You are the one who started the business. It was not there before. Your family also comes before the business. So think of yourself first before anything else. Then you also need to sharpen your focus. You need to hone those skills that you have. You need to change your models. You need to change your approach. Very important if we want to get a better business of tomorrow. We discussed cutting expenses, the selling or dying, where you have to keep talking to your customers. You don't say that you're not on business and you keep quiet, keep talking to them, tell them you're still there. Holding on to cash and trying to generate more. We also discussed on who we are partnering or parting with. Who is that customer that you're parting with? You know, many people think that customers, you should keep all the customers. But this is a time, shake up time. Who is that you're going to keep, and who is that you're going to go with? The suppliers, the employees. Who are your A-class employees? Your B-class employees? A-class, those who do above what you ask for. B-class, those who do what you have asked them to do, and it's okay, it's good. Others are C-class. This is what my job description says, so do not add anything above this. Who are you parting with? These are some of the decisions that we have to make, and we must make. We will not run away from this, because this is our business, and if we don't, then who else will come and make them for us? We said that we need to eliminate all the waste from the business and ourselves. So you are the one who is going to steer your ship. We are in the ocean with lots of turbulence. And we said that you have your navigator. So tap into what matters most. Steer that ship, because success is for those who take actions. It is not for procrastinators. Many people are still in the thinking phase. But if you take so long there, then things will catch up with you. So it's upon you to steer the ship. You know where your compass is leading you to. You don't have enough funds for the next 3 months. So what do? Make your decisions. And that is why it is called a bold step. a philosophy of decision making, whereby whether we like it or not, we have to make those decisions for us to flow. The second one that we're going to look to is the flow of money. And it is important for us to understand this philosophy, which some of us are very much aware of, but we tend to ignore. So which kind of excuses, myths, or stories do you know about money? I'm sure some of them may resonate with this, if not all of us. When you went to your parents and they told you money is not grown on trees. Money is not grown on trees. Yes, you have to work for it. Or they give you something else. Or they tell you we don't have enough because we are not plucking it from trees. So those are some of the myths. And it is important for us to understand, how does this flow of money works? And as a result of these excuses and myths, they have brought in some experiences, some feelings of money, some attitudes towards money, some beliefs towards money, to a point that there are some people who might think that if you have more money, you have it because of something else. No, it is understanding this particular psychology behind flow of money. And the myth that I have given earlier on of money is not grown on trees. Most of this money is made of paper. So paper are grown on trees. So that can at least change your psychology behind money, to know that, well, after all, yes, it is grown on trees. So money is a measure of value. It is a store of value. It is an exchange of value. So you don't expect money if you have not given value. So what are you giving? Which kind of value are you giving? Money doesn't just go missing. It is somewhere. So where is it? Who has this money that we are looking for? How can we add value for us to take it from them that has it? So what kind of value are we going to add? Which gaps are there? They are saying that domestic and regional are the ones that are coming back fast. So what are the gaps in the region? What are the gaps domestically? Which are these products that we can make? What value can we give to them so that we can be able to get their money? It is not just the dollar. Even the other currencies are money. Money is in the economy. It is still here. We only need to look for the gaps, add that value, and charge more. You cannot charge more if you are still giving the same value that you were giving before. And COVID has come to change things. Cheap is no longer available. And how are we going to charge more if we're giving the same services that you were giving before COVID? We were taken through some 7 powerful sessions, and this was one of them. We need to add our value. We need to increase our value, and we need to rearrange our value with the value of our structure. We need to know that where there is value, if it is valued, then money will flow. That is the flow of money. It is all dictated by the value that you put in. If you have no value to add, then don't expect money to flow to you. Show value, money will come running. The other point that we need to discuss today is innovation. We need to innovate fast to adapt to the VUCA environment. And this is all about envisioning the new beginnings. Things have changed. We either change or we be changed. What you have solved earlier on is no longer a challenge. If you have solved it, it's no longer a challenge. It's a good old time. So whatever you have put down, that unique selling proposition that you used to have, that is no longer the challenge. It's a good old time. So you need to innovate, come up with a new selling proposition. What is your difference? What will keep you afloat? Discover what is missing in that environment, in your product, in your marketing. What is missing? Innovate it. Let it suit your customers' needs. Don't focus on yourself. It's all about the customer. You are innovating for the customer, not for yourself. So what are those needs? And that is why you need to also understand your customer perfectly. Because if you don't, then you'll be coming up with your own things. After you innovate, you need to adapt to the environment, the social distancing, sanitization. How are you going to ensure that all this is taken care of? You need to adapt to this new environment. Then you need to automate some of these things. When you innovate and you don't automate, and you're still using the manual way of doing it, it is still going to cost you time and money. So the faster we innovate, the more easier will it be for us to adapt. And we are adapting from all angles. We want to increase our productivity. So which kind of industries can we borrow our innovations from? Which kind of countries can we borrow from? So that we add our value, we show our value. And most importantly, we leverage on the technology that is out there. It is important for us to note that fortune favors the bold, not the people who play it safe. So come up with new products, come up with new services, courageously innovate. Don't do it with fear. Do it courageously. Come out. Push yourself. Ensure that you live to the best that you can to add value to life. Add value. And one of the strategies that God has given us today is the omnipresent strategy, the value of internet, where you can have all these kinds of marketing, emails, the social media, the blogging, the forums, the websites, all these, you can actually have them. And as a result of having them, you are making yourself relevant, that everywhere when they click, they are finding your name there. And this is one of the things that we have to ensure that we include into our innovation, because it is there. Let's adapt them. What are you changing? Which facets are you going to change? Is it your business strategy? Are you going to innovate your model? The other thing that we need to look to is the quality networks. What kind of networks do you have? You cannot please everybody. Actually, somebody said jokingly, but I took it with lots of seriousness, that mother and wife have different perspectives. And therefore, you cannot please them alike. So if you want to please everybody, then you not please anybody. So do you have the right networks? What kind of relationships are you having today? Who are you working with? Who is the best fit for this VUCA environment? The best fit supplier, the best fit customer. Who is this best fit? It is important for you to note that your family cannot be your quality network, because they'll always look at you with lots of emotions. They're not ready to tell you the bitter truth. So look out for the quality network. And for these quality networks to work, you need to be adding value into them. That existing network that you are in, that WhatsApp group, that Facebook group that you have, those customers that you have, those suppliers, those agents that you have, what value are you adding to them even now? What kind of communication are you sending out? Is it valuable to them? Are you asking them what they want? Are you carrying out surveys? Are you speaking to them? It's important for us to try to expand our networks as much as possible, particularly at this particular time. Your LinkedIn, are you growing it? Because it is these networks that will assist you or that will offer you a shoulder to lean on. And I always equate quality networks with having the right bees in the beehive. You know the different kind of bees that we have? We have the female or the workers, we have the male, the drones, and we have the queens. If you're having the right ones in the hive and the right vegetation around it, then honey is guaranteed. And interestingly, we all know that she trade is a supporter of women. It is the female bees that are workers. So what kind of networks are you having so that you're able to work more and get more? We all have a genius in us, and not serving is selfish. If you're not serving, then you're selfish. If you're waiting for others to just be the ones who are giving you tips, telling you things, and you're not telling them, you're not sharing equally, then those are not quality networks. So ensure that you have the quality networks. Chase these connections, not money. Don't chase money, chase the network, the connections. Money will flow because people will see value in you. Your agents, the communications that you're making now are the ones that are making your agents see your value and be able to gauge you. And automatically when everything reopens, money will start flowing out of those connections that you have. And we always say that business and message is in you. All these other things, all these other tools are just tools. The Facebook, the email, the LinkedIn, whatever other tools that you are using are just tools. You are the one who has your business and your message. So ensure that you find a voice in your networks. You can only be found if your voice is heard. Otherwise, those people who are just keeping quiet, waiting for others, woe unto you. We need to serve with a purpose. The purpose of human life is to serve and show compassion and the will to help others. If you're not assisting others, then yours will also not come. We also need to look for experts' help. We need to be shown how. We don't know everything. We are not sole custodian of knowledge. I'm sure all those Olympians who win the Olympic Games, have a coach behind them, somebody that they're going to look for help from. I have seen this photo trading several times, and I always tell myself, this giraffe has seen ahead. The zebra cannot at its height. But upon climbing on top of this giraffe, it is able to see far. I think it's even farther than the giraffe. So let's make use of the experts that we have around. And what is the expert's assistance that we are looking for? Whatever you need, there's somebody who has done it before. There is nothing new under the sun. Somebody must have done it. So it's upon you to be humble and ask for help. Actually, many people who are dying now as a result of mental issues is because they are not ready to ask for help. Your ego is too high. You're not ready to ask for assistance. Your business is going down, but you're not ready to ask for help. This is a time when you need to open up and discuss to get assisted by the expert. And we saw that decisions can either be out of desperation or inspiration. And coaching or coaches and mentors are very important to take us through this journey. We always say that in electricity, there's always a positive pole and a negative pole. And if both of them are not there, you will not get power. You need to connect the positive to the negative to get power. So this expert that you're seeking is going to give you very negative comments on what you are thinking about at times to make you so angry to take the positive steps. You know, the problem that we have when we go to the expert is that we already have made a subscription to a certain thought, and we have already diagonized ourselves, and we have even gone deeper from diagonizing to even giving ourselves the dosage that we need to be given by the expert. But it doesn't work that way. We have to be ready to swallow the bitter pill. A true expert will always be a forever student and a researcher for life. That is why when you go for this assistance, you are going to get what this person has been working for years, and you are getting it in a few hours, in a few days, and working through it. So don't fear the experts. But then how does it work? This expert assistance, how does it work? It works through a model that we call a growth model. A growth model is a model that you can use to be coached, and the coaches normally use, because it is your problem. It is not their problem. We are all walking on different roads, in the same road, but different journeys. And therefore, they can only trigger what is inside you to solve the problem. We have said that we have a genius in us. And therefore, this expert is trying to trigger what is inside of you to help you to solve that problem. And this can be done by generating your goals, helping you to generate your goals. What kind of goals are you looking for when you're going to that coach? When you're asking for assistance, what are your goals? You also need to know where you are. Assess yourself critically to understand the reality of your position. Then after you have done this, you need to discuss the opinions with the coach. But then there has to be a willpower to move forward. Because if you're not willing, no matter how much the coach pushes you, you will never get where you want to be, which is your goals. If you have the willpower, you'll be ready to develop the required tactics with a coach, and you'll sustain the right habits to go forward, which is very important. And at times, we leave it to the coach to tell us. No, there is no telling us. What they're doing, they're just triggering what is in us. What exactly are you facing? Why do you think you're facing it? Why do you think that which you are facing is going to affect you? How will it affect you? If you answer all these questions, then the coach is trying to trigger what is inside you to give you a solution. This is just the growth coaching model that we have just discussed. What is your goal? You need to have a goal. You also need to come in terms with the current realities in relation to your goal. What options are available to achieve this particular goal? Your willpower, the tactics that you're going to use to make it happen, and the habits. How are you going to sustain your going forward? Because it will be very wrong for you to go through the coaching process, come up with very good documents, and then you cannot be able to implement them. You cannot be able to sustain what you have achieved. So you need to make it a habit. Whatever you have developed with a coach has to be to become a habit. And that is what you have come up with any expert, not just a coach, even a mentor. If you go to a mentor with this growth model and you work on it, then you'll make it in your business. And remember, here we are looking at building stronger businesses for tomorrow today. What will take place tomorrow, we are building it today, and it is upon these particular tenets that we have gone through. Today we have gone through 5 of them, but from the 5 we will continue next week with some additional ones. And it's important for us to know that we have to be deaf to the naysayers. We cannot afford to listen to them. We have to be that deaf frog that made it to the top, no matter what others were saying, because we'll have known how to make decisions. And if we make the right decisions, then we are moving into the right direction. It will also be important for us to know that success is not accidental. It is very intentional. What kind of intentions do you have for that business? We saw that it's all about taking steps, taking actions. That is a secret. You cannot look, analyze, and analyze again and continue analyzing. You'll get what we call paralysis by analysis. And it is your passion that fuels the journey in your business. So what is your passion in this journey? What is your passion towards your business? What are your values? What is that keeps you waking up every morning? And finally, as I close, I would like to say that we need to live in abundance if we have to leave a legacy. We need to be the change that we want to be and be a candle that lights others. Otherwise, if we are not ready to serve, then we cannot make it in this line of business. And with that, I give the floor back to Caroline. Thank you so much for listening to me. It's always an honor while sharing, because sharing is caring. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary. So I'm going to open the webinar for questions and answers. Participants are now able to unmute themselves. So if you have any questions, please go ahead. And for those whose microphones are not working, you can just type on the chat function and then we can read it out. Hi, Patricia. Okay, it seems that we don't have any questions for now. We can give a few more minutes for those who would like to ask any questions or make any comments or recommendations.
I can see one question from Julia,
Mm-hmm.
who is asking, is it the right time to do any marketing? Is it the right time to do any marketing? So what is marketing? It is you are communicating with those prospective or current customers. So when you keep telling them of your existence, when you keep telling them you are still there for them, you may not be pushing products to them, but that will remind them of you. You may not be pushing products to them, but that will keep ringing a bell that there is Julia who is at this and this place. So yes, keep doing it. Keep reminding them. Keep sending them messages. Keep reminding them of what they used to have, as in the beautiful times that you have had with them. So it's good. It's good time to keep doing it. And I can please share the growth slide. That is from Mary Bogwa. The whole presentation will be shared to you through Caroline. So that will be there, it will be included. I don't see any. Good afternoon, Mary.
I just want to see it right now on the screen. Just for something.
I can't hear you, Mary. Please speak louder.
I was saying I would like to see it on the screen just for a short minute, a short time. I think it's the one just before the one we have right now. Yes, that one.
Mary, can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Any question on the same?
No, no. I'm okay with that.
Okay, thank you. I think to the other participants, I can see I have several private communications, but these are not questions really. Thank you so much if you have liked it, because I can see some communications here. Thank you so much. I am honored. I feel humbled by these kind of compliments. And I would urge us to not stop here. And thank you so much for those who came back after our last week's session. Keep doing it. Come back, ask questions. We are there for you. We would like to see your growth. Actually, I normally say that I would like to give all that I have out before I leave this world. That would be the best thing and the best gift that I can give to you. So in case you need anything, just come back. Caroline?
Thank you so much, Mary. And also thank you all for joining the training today. As Mary mentioned, we'll be sharing the webinar presentation and the recording with you. and then we touch base next week for the second part of this webinar. And yeah, so keep thinking about your goals, where you are currently and what options you have, and then we can touch base next week and then see, we can have more questions and get more insights from Mary as well. So I'm going to be closing the webinar now and stopping the recording.